Hello, it's 9 p.m. in Djibouti, and for tonight's headlines, we have the return of the President of the Republic after the 28th summit of the Arab League in Dhahran. Before it is done, the President of the Republic and concerning the international Syria survey on the offensive attack. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margele, has participated this Mondays in the regions of Ras Al Khair of the eastern province in Saudi Arabia, the closing ceremony of military maneuver called Shield of Gulf 1, organized by the Saudi Ministry of Defense with the participation of the annual forces, army forces, the Navy and Air forces of 24 countries. The closing ceremony of this exercise, which is renewed for a period of 1 month by the King Salman bin Abdul Aziz and the King of Saudi Arabia and the Supreme Chief of the military forces in Saudi Arabia, have assisted many Arab leaders who have participated yesterday with the workers of the 29th Arab Summit, as well as the heads of the state and the governments of a number of countries, brothers and friends, such as President of Chad, the President of the Republic of Mali, the Prime Ministers of Pakistan, and the Crown Prince of the United Arab Emirates. This initiative, which is the largest military exercises in the region, reflect the attentions given by the leaders of the Saudi Arabia to strengthen military cooperation and coordination with the country brothers and friends and raise the level of preparations in order to ensure the security and stability of the region, of the world and of the war. The official spokesman of the Year Shields of the Gulf 1, the Brigadier General Abdullahi bin Hussein, has stated during a conference that the maneuver has aimed to promote the preservation of security and stability in the region. The strategic objectives of this exercise is to maintain the security of the participations and the stability of the state, taking into account the causes of the instability and sources of the danger that resist in the region. Highlighting the capacity of actions, joint military has noted that the Saudi Arabian general. It should be noted that the delegations of Djibouti, accompanied by the President of Gele, has included the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mohammed Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Defense, Ali Hassan Bahdoun, the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim. And in the margins of the participations in 28th Arab Summit held this morning in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margele, has meetings with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz, the head of state, and the Prince of Saudi Arabia. Parties have discussed the fraternal relations and cooperation between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Republic of Djibouti, especially in the military field. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mohammed Ali Yusuf, and the Minister of Defense, Ali Hassan Bahdoun, the Ambassador of Djibouti in Saudi Arabia, the Aydin Said Bamakrama, have attended this meeting. Recall that the numbers once the President of the Republic of Djibouti will also participate tomorrow, the closing ceremony of this joint exercise known as the Shield Gulf 1, organized in Saudi Arabia with the participation of the forces and controllers of 23 countries, including the Republic of Djibouti. And concerning the national news, the Minister of Health, Dr. Jama Elmi Akia, chaired preparatory meetings on the campaigns door-to-door of a space spray that will be deployed in the municipality of the capital. In addition to the main executive of the Health Department, the preparatory meetings saw the participation of the Mayor of Djibouti, Ms. Fatma Awali Osman, and the Prefect of Capital, Osman Bile Gire, and the President of the Brouhaus Municipality, Mohammed Omar Ismail, the President of the Barbara Municipality, Waber Nur Alaye, with a view to a better coordination of actions around this activity to fight vectors. In effect, the Department of Health is planning to launch a campaign of spraying residential through a strategy of door-to-door, which will be conducted in all the municipality of Bul'aus and Balbala to eliminate the larval geese and prevent the proliferation of mosquito in homes. To this effect, the Minister of Health Jami' al-Malkiya recorded the importance of the inclusion of it all in urging all the leaders present at these meetings to redouble their efforts in order to ensure optimal coordination in order to carry out these important missions of public health. In the course of this week, the teams of the National Institute of Public Health will travel in the neighborhood by following a predetermined schedule with a view to effectively combat the proliferation of flies and mosquito in each of the households. The Prefect of the Djibouti, Osman Gire, welcomes the initiative undertaken by the Department of Health in the area of vectors. He also urged the population to actively cooperate with the teams of ENSPD in facilitating the fulfillment of their mission. Like other countries, the Republic of Djibouti celebrates today for the first time the World Day of the Artists at the People's Palace. A ceremony presided over by the Minister of Culture, Mr. Momin Hassan Barre, in the presence of many officials, including the Minister for Women and Family, Momin Ahmed Hassan, the Minister of Energy, Yunus Ali Geddi, and finally the Minister Delegate to the Ministers of Finance, Hassan Hamad Ibrahim. The many artists of the Djiboutians, donations of the Dean, Mr. Adan Hassan Farah, have participated in the ceremony. In these times, the modernization of the Djiboutian society, the arts must take a considerable share in the constructions of our culture, heritage, of the trainings to the personality of our children, to the embellishments of preservation of our environment. As well, the Artists Congress in the living arts, visuals, digital of the mode, and finally the culinary arts. It is for you to show how the semantic definitions of the artists is rich and dense. Aware of this importance of the artists in the development of any society, the President of the Republic, Excellency Ismail Gele, has created in 2014 the Institute of Djiboutian Arts to expand the expectations in terms of artistic education of our youth and rekindles the flames of the arts in the sprites of the Djiboutian. It is thus that the idea has formation between all the trainings of technicians and artistic expressionists, which will ensure the artistic training. After the ceremony, the Minister of Culture, Mr. Momin Hassan Barre, has indicated that the arts and culture is an integral part of the development, of a people and nation, and are therefore the key element of the cultural identity of our country. And a conference debate on the reforms for a better business environment was held this morning at the Chamber of Commerce of Djibouti under the leadership of Ministry of with the presidency in charge of investment, the improvement of climate of business, in making reform that respond that the speed of business. The conference saw the participations of several private entrepreneurs who have asked questions of the different departments in the business climate. This conference debate was chaired by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Investment, Mr. Abdi Almi Ashkir, where also present the Director of the Housing Town Planning, Mr. Habib Ibrahim, and the Director of NP, Mr. Mahdi, and the General Directors of the ODPIC, Ms. Ulufa Ismail. In his intervention, the Director of the Agency of Djiboutian Investment, Mr. Mahdi, recalled the efforts made by the business climates in Djibouti, and this is through their effort, their work provided daily in any consultations with the department concerned, and to continue this. And Colonel Mohammed Jama' Douali, commanders of the Republican Guard has received today 12 hours has the staff of the Republican Guard and important delegations of the logistic bases of China. Chinese PLA support bases in Djibouti. Among this delegation, the captains of superior vessel Liang Yang accompanies its officers of state majors and recall that the captains have performed a courtesy visit of friendship in the taking the floor. The Colonel Muhammad Jama'at Ali, commanders of the Republican Guard, opened the meetings by thanking the command of the logistics base of China for this second visit, and has said that during his this last visit it has been impressed by the designs of the camp as well as its infrastructure, while putting a focus in the military hospital of this base. It is a symbol of the captains of superior vessels. Liang Yang has thanked Colonel Muhammad Jama'at Ali for the warm welcomes and the proposed joint exercise like a joint maneuver with the armed forces in Djibouti. Pursuing its maintenance, it has also proposed its invitations for the celebrations of the day of opening of logistic base. Expect the Chinese on 23 April next. During this, maintenance of the other subjects have been addressed, such as bilateral agreement between the two forces in order to forge link of brotherhood in the area of health, sports and security. The captains of superior vessels has, with respect to him, took the floor by putting the emphasis on the relationship with China, with the People's Republic of China, interview with the country's friends, to know the Republic of Djibouti. On his part, Colonel Muhammad Jama'at Ali, commanders of the Republican Guard, has reiterated his thanks before the two heads of the bodies of the Anglais partnership in exchange of the strengthening of mutual capacity. The visit was concluded by an exchange of gift and photo of memories. The visit delegations of the bases of China. The workers of training for officers and non-commissioned officers of the civil protections have begun this morning at the rescue centers. Muhammad Zafar has engineers, firefighter, initiated by the Director General of the Civil Protection, Mr. Mahmoud Musa Mahmoud. This training of 2 weeks will consolidate many officers and under officers, firefighters to the number of 13 in the area of new methods of struggle between the fire. That's 2 French experts of the Djibouti National School Superior of the firefighters in the occurrence. The Thierry Ferres of Philippe Spences will provide these courses practices has our firemen during 2 weeks of trainings on the new Elo against fire, and especially the new technique of communication between the different firefighters relief of the capital. In an interview granted to the national televisions of the officers, a firefighter says links has to learn during these trainings, a training which has just a few weeks. The Center of Research, Information and Productions of the National Education has hosted this morning the launch of the second editions of the Great School Contest, which was chaired by the Secretary General of the National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Muhammad Abdullah Mahyub, have taken part in this annual event. All the senior executives of the MINFOP, including the Director General of KRIPAN, Said Nur Hassan, the General Directors of Education Abdi Dirir, the Directors of the Public Education Ms. Lula Ali, the Director of Administration Salah Alwan, as well as the officials of the Organization Committee of Competition. Launched last year, these games fun and educational proposed questions relate to the course and subject studies in class in the general disciplines such as science, mathematics, but also the French language, but the history, geography, and the same literature that the sports. They all brings a pinch of issue relating extra knowledge, disciplinary and the general cultures of students selected among the best of each college, noting that the first games of this editions of the Great School contest who have faced this morning, the students of the College of Obok up to those of the College of the Nativity, took place in a great spirit of loyal competitiveness, where the two teams were able to give their best to raise the highest degrees the names of their school. In his word, the Secretary General of the MERFOP has put the emphasis on the interest of these games and their interest in students who found a healthy emulations in this competition. He also commended all these to generously participate in the establishment of this vast project of education, which is the responsibility of challenges of the quality of learning in school. As a result, the modular trainings 28 June put in place by the Town's Hall and the benefit of the communals elected, the regional having at the terms waters and sanitation and provide enough. The participant carried out a movement in Obok arrivals at the bout of the custody of the Coast Guard visitors representative, the town hall, the municipality of Balauz and Balbala regions of Arta, Ali Sabih, Dekil and Tajura, with the representative of the INAP, are greeted by the elected representative of the people of Obok, which has its head Mr. Muhammad Ismail, President of the Regional Council of Obok. At the start of the working sessions in the openings remarks, the President of the Council has welcomed the delegation and I congratulate the authors of this unprecedented initiative, and in this first place, this meeting was the opportunity for participants to meet and present their respective institutions. The program also the visit of the file and the delegation visit the historic homes of the Alliance Lagar, constructions of new water supply, and the camps of Markazi, the commercial centers in the locations of the first primary schools of Obok, centers of empowerment of women managed by AFOD, and the fishery of Obok. After a guided towers of the city of Obok, the direction event is complete by a lunch of organized in honor visitors to mark of the tourist centers with a presence of appreciated by Mr. Hassan Dabele, the prefect of the region, accompanies the stop works, the communal elected regional and half of the capitals by the same way. And concerning the international scene, UK President will address Parliament on Monday to defend and explain Britain's role in bombing Syria over suspected chemical weapons attempt. For more details, listen to this report.
The UK Prime Minister will address Parliament on Monday to defend and explain Britain's role in bombing Syria over suspected chemical weapons attacks. Theresa May is under fire for bypassing the House of Commons. Some Prime Ministers are calling for a potentially damaging vote on her future strategy. Speaker on the BBC Android Mar show on Sunday, the opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn has questioned the equality of the airstrikes as a member of the Security Council. As a country with a long tradition of international involvement, should we say that then we have to abide by international law? And I say to the Foreign Secretary, I say to the Prime Minister, where is the local basis? The local basis will have to pay self-defense or the authority of the UN Security Council. Say.
And in Syria, chemical attack weapons, inspectors to investigate. Please listen to this report.
Syria chemical attack weapon inspectors to investigate sites. Inspectors from the International Chemical Weapons Watchdog are to start an investigation into an attack on a town outside Damascus that killed more than 40 people, injured up to 500, and led to the threat of military strikes against Syrian government workers. The team from the Organization for the prohibition of chemical weapons will begin work on Saturday to determine whether chemical weapons were used in Duma on 7 April. The town had been the latest opposition stronghold in the Syrian capital. It was recaptured in the days following the attack, which has drawn broad condemnation by the US, France and UK, but extraditing denial from Russia that it actually took place. The World Health Organization said on Wednesday that close to 500 people sought treatment at medical facilities it supports. Many had symptoms consistent with exposure to toxic chemical, notably chlorine gas and inert agent. Russian military officials who visited the site say no patients had complained of such symptoms.
This is it for tonight's news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.